So we had a pretty crazy week. With everything happening in Russia and Ukraine, things have been crazy, and I wanted to discuss here in today's video about my #1 trading setup going into next week with everything going on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts and jump right into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick. I talk all about trading Forex and I try and keep it real. And today we're talking a little bit about the dollar, and I want to talk specifically about my top, I guess, 2 trading setups, but really my #1 trading setup going into next week. Now, before we jump into a whole bunch of price action, let's just discuss kind of what has been on the docket in terms of markets right now. Well, if you look at markets, things have been kind of crazy. We've seen gold flying up. You guys may know I am still holding on to my gold long position that I discussed within our private Discord, but let me just cover why we saw such volatility this week before I jump into my reasoning and my #1 setup for next week. Gold was flying high on the Ukraine and Russia situation. You may be aware of this, but again, we've talked about it all week. And the idea here is when Russia and Ukraine, when they have conflict and concerns about potential war, we don't know if that's happening or not. But either ways, the fear and the unknown is something that the market tends to be afraid of and not really like. People don't like uncertainty, so do markets, or markets don't either. So when we look at gold, gold has been flying high, and I actually ended up picking up a long position on gold earlier on this week, a highlight moment of the week for sure. I bought gold around 1849 and shared this within our private Discord channel. Here is the trade alert that I sent out to members, which again, I clarified the whole breakdown, basically what I just said. The uncertainty in Russia and Ukraine has me bullish biased on this pair. And this is basically going to continue to be the theme going into next week, where I still have some setups that I want to pick up, some added positions that I want to take, which we'll discuss as we get along in this video. But before that goes into effect, of course, we have to cover this week. We had big news, we had big volatility due to the Ukraine and Russia situation. So again, I took this long position, I've been holding it, and into today's close, I do plan on, if I can, unless the gold market continues to drop lower, I might stop out. But overall, I'm floating 331 pips in a trailed stop loss, and basically overall, still seeing a nice gain on the account due to this gold long. By the way, if you'd like to join the Discord, you get access to all the trades being taken throughout the week by myself, Patrick, Innie, and Ivan, our 4 analysts at the time of recording this. And if you have any questions about the group and you would like to chat with us, we actually have a representative. His name is Drew. We'll link him down below in the description if you'd like to send a Telegram message to Drew about any questions you may have about joining our community. We're looking for more serious members, serious traders. So if you have any interest or any questions, definitely hit up Drew down below in the chat. So yeah, my thoughts with gold, right? Basic idea here is that until the fears around Russia and Ukraine subside, gold is a buy for me. And that's not being predictive. It's not calling, what's going to happen next in the world. It's more just a reactionary tale of, okay, well, things are concerning. I'm going to stay long on gold. Now, in terms of trade setups, maybe there's an opportunity next week to re-enter. In fact, if things do pull back and maybe we just get a little bit of volatility, perhaps we could even pick up gold longs on a retest. But that's not my favorite setup for next week. In fact, I'm going to pull up what my favorite setup is for next week right now. Let's take a look at USD JPY. So here's dollar yen, and it looks like it might be holding us back here as we pop a little bit of dollar strength coming in on Friday here. But let's scroll out. Let's take a big look here at the 4-hour chart. Okay, I've got a level marked on my screen that I want to be a buyer at. Right around 115, it looks like I missed my entry just a little bit here, but I also, honestly, I'd rather not hold this into the weekend just because, something could develop over the weekend with Ukraine that could cause some volatility and markets could gap down or something like that. So I am actually preferably waiting for this to set up next week and may look for opportunities intraday on Sunday, Monday. So anyways, my point here is I do want to be a buyer of the dollar yen. I want to buy the dollar. I want to short the yen. This has been something that I've been pretty consistently waiting for. And now we're actually seeing pullback here in the dollar yen. Now, someone asked me this morning, they asked, Nick, you've got that gold trade. Can I buy gold today? And of course, nothing I say on this channel is meant to be as, you go take this trade or financial advice or anything like that. I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinions here. But my personal take is buying after the run has already started is a really, really dangerous game and probably something that should be left to the more gambling side of trading. Now, when it comes to something like dollar yen, right, it's pulling back. it's got an opportunity in my opinion for potential oversold status, right? Overall, I do like this upward trend. You look at the daily chart, this thing seems pretty healthy. You've got nice strength overall. Sure, we paused and double topped at 116.30, but I think fundamentally the analysis here is pretty sound. The dollar looks attractive in terms of the Fed wanting to raise rates to combat inflation. Inflation is a consistent pressure here in the US. It's causing stock markets to be a little bit afraid, etc., because of what the Fed may do, which is rate hikes, right? That's the expected outcome. And so for me, a dollar dip, right, the dollar coming down is an attractive buy on things like the dollar against the yen. Why the yen? Well, the yen, in my opinion, is just the underperformer right now. In terms of monetary policy, it's behind. Now, it's gained a little bit of strength and momentum right now, right? Which is why we see dollar yen going down, the dollar being less favored compared to the yen in the last few days here on the daily chart. Why is that? Well, again, Russia, Ukraine causing some volatility and people flocking to the Japanese yen, which is known very well for being a safe haven asset. I think, and I'm not trying to predict here or anything like that, I just want to buy the dollar when it becomes cheap. And so I will look at the dollar yen with a potential bullish perspective. Again, the idea being maybe trying to buy here in these lows if we get a retest of that structure. But again, my other thing that I wanted to discuss is I have a couple levels marked. So let's say I buy the dollar yen and things worsen with Russia and Ukraine, and we actually, I take a long trade and the stop loss gets hit, right? For example, I take a buy here, put a stop below structure. I'm targeting the recent high, but then things just collapse, right? Things go bad. Russia, Ukraine continues to be scary, and the dollar weakens against the yen as people rush to the yen, right? Could happen. I don't know the future. I'm not trying to predict the future. I'm just trying to pick up, what I believe to be a strong dollar overall, an attractive buy on a dip. And on top of that, I'm willing to try more than once. Okay. This is something I talk about regularly on my channel. If I want to buy something, I may take a couple tries at it. I may throw a couple darts here, right? So my first dart may be trying here at 115. Maybe I get my buy, and sure, maybe we rally, and it's an amazing tail, and it's the next big winner that I talk about here on YouTube. Or maybe it's just a loser that I talk about on YouTube, and I take another shot, okay? So I may take more than one attempt. And Ivan, I believe he's a regular contributor on my channel and on the A1 Trading YouTube channel, which is our team channel. We've been discussing about potentially buying dollar yen and looking for entries. I have the idea also of maybe this doesn't work out, but maybe we throw another dart. Maybe I'm looking at 114.4, give or take, looking at this next zone where we found major support historically. So I could repeat the process. I could look for an entry. Sure, maybe I'm wrong on the first one. Maybe I'm right on the second one. What if I'm wrong in the second one? Well, here's the key, you guys. I'm not taking a huge risk per trade. I'm taking a very small risk per trade so that if I'm wrong, in both cases, I'm not going to be in a terrible situation. But if I'm right in one situation, I could make some great money. And that is the key, in my opinion, to trading. It's all about stacking when you're right, making it count, and when you're wrong, getting it out of your account and not letting it destroy you. So I may even take, for example, a third attempt. This is definitely a little bit higher time frame. We have to scroll out for this one, but of course, this level here. And if you actually look on my broker here, I am logged into my Oanda account. I don't have any trades open currently on dollar yen. But I actually have, you can see my orders if we zoom in on these little arrows. These are trades that I took on my broker. I took 57,000 units long on dollar yen here. I took 45,000 units long on dollar yen here, right? So I took buys in this zone before. So I would actually be interested in, if price comes down to that level, I am still bullish on the dollar yen until further notice. So perhaps we get, all three entries, or, I stop out here, and on my third entry, let's say I catch that one and things go really well. Still could come out on top. That's the thing about trading that I love, is that, you really can set your reward to risk so that even if you're wrong, 2 out of 3 times, you could still make some good money on that third trade by letting it win, letting it run. And that's kind of my thoughts on the dollar yen. So I do have a bullish bias on the dollar yen. One other pair, my bonus pair that I mentioned that I have 2 that I'm looking at, is also euro dollar. So I discussed this one on the live stream here today on my channel. Euro dollar broke out of structure here. We consolidated pretty much all week, but with this situation with Ukraine, I think that puts bearish pressure on the euro until further notice. Why? Well, again, we've marked this up a couple times, but here's Europe, here's Ukraine, and here's Russia, right? You put all that together, Europe is really close to this situation. Any potential conflict between these two puts pressure on Europe too. Why? Because they do a lot of trade in terms of energy and oil, that sort of thing with Russia. And if NATO has to get involved and has sanctions, it's not great for the economy in both parties. Nobody wants war. It's not something that we're here to root on. But you know, it is something that happens in our world. And in terms of markets, we have to be prepared for what could happen. But I do like the idea potentially of shorting the euro dollar on a retest of structure. 1.1359 looks attractive with the stop loss over the highs. Maybe something that I could get into later today or going into Sunday, Monday for potential targets back down at structure there at 1.1292. That is this low. And of course, the longer term level, that low of the year that we've been discussing on the euro dollar down at 1.1126. That's my thoughts. That's a couple trade setups that I'm looking at before the end of the weekend. Hey, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got a lot of people who watch these videos and they don't subscribe. And remember, if you'd like to join us in our community, we have been trading like crazy. So active between all the different traders. And if you're not already in here, come join the action. It's been great. If you have any questions, make sure to hit up Drew in the description down below. And you can sign up if you have any questions or if you have any interest in joining. There's a link in the description and a promo code for you to get a discount here on YouTube. Thanks very much for watching, you guys. Enjoyed talking with you, and we'll see you next time. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching today's video. There are more videos available on our channel here and here, so go ahead and click into that for some more free trading content. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you back next time.